Hello, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Happy Thanksgiving. In this short video, I just want to go over uh, three slides to give you updates about the schedule and to some reminders for Project 2. First, I want to apologize for all the confusion that happened. Um, you know what happened, and it is beyond my ability. And it has been happening actually since the beginning of the semester. It was a very rough semester. Um, so I hope that you are not very frustrated, and you can see also that I am a human being, and um, things life sometimes gives or becomes very unfortunate. Uh, Nevertheless, I really appreciate your work and your patience. You deserve a good learning experience. I am trying my best given the circumstances. Uh, so I just wanted to apologize for any confusion or any stress that you have been through due to having to cancel the class, and before that moving to online when I went to Egypt and so on. So without further ado, I want to go over the slides that I have, just three slides. Um, so we have been working on Project 2 for a couple of weeks before we started the project. We analyzed some examples of research proposals. If you remember, I know that seems like a long time ago because of my recent absence when I was sick, and then what happened. Um, uh, but we analyzed examples of research proposals. We had a discussion. I brought worksheets, and you had a chance to think about a problem that you can be curious about, something you wanted to investigate, and then you developed research questions. And then we went to the library for a whole week. We met with a librarian, and he graciously gave very good help uh, to everyone and individual feedback. And I really appreciate his work too. And I appreciate your presence on those days. So we have a lot that we have accomplished in that project. And we were about to start drafting the first draft. And then I was unable to attend. So I want to announce some modifications to the schedule, and I want to say some expectations of the proposal, and that's it for this video. So just let me, yes. So one of the things that I made in the schedule first, as you can see, week 13, this is the week when we are in now. No classes for both days, no class meetings, but this video should serve as a kind of asynchronous class. So by just watching this video, uh, you have completed the requirement for that week. And I'm going to post it in the schedule. We have Thanksgiving break in week 14, and then when we come back from the Thanksgiving break, that's when we will do the peer review for the project. So your first draft is due on Monday, December 1st by 11:59 p.m. So I made that change. And then we will do the peer review and prepare for the presentation. And then you do the presentations in week 16. Um, the fun on that week we will do the presentations, and on the last day you will do the portfolio, which is combining the two main uh, documents that you wrote this semester with a critical introduction, one-page critical introduction, and in just one PDF document, all of them, and then submitting them. Um, Yeah, so some of the expectations that I wanted to mention for the structure of the proposal, and we have already gone over that, but I just wanted to give a reminder. So I expect in the first draft of your proposal that you have a title. Your title should be representative of the study, not vague one. So it is different from an essay. An essay, you can make the title intriguing, for example, or elusive in some sense. But for a research proposal, you should think about people searching for this research in a database, for example, like that was happening in the library. So the title should be representative, should have the keywords of the study. Um, then you need an introduction section. And in that section, you usually start by filling in the gap between the reader and the topic. So think or ask yourself, what does the reader already know about this problem? Or do they not know anything and you want to start with them from scratch? So it's all about how you think about the audience. I am one of the audiences of this proposal. Your peer will be the audience too. So, and whoever else you accounted for as the audience, think about what do they already know and what do you need to tell them about the context of that problem that you are investigating in that research proposal. Um, so the introduction should serve that purpose, should serve to connect your reader to the topic, a topic that probably they know very little about. Then the statement of the problem, sometimes it is part of the introduction, sometimes it's in a separate section, um, right after the first paragraph of the introduction, which is when you what is the problem you are proposing to investigate? What is the issue? And why is it of significance? This is very important that you want to explain the rationale behind why is this worth investigating. Significance for you, your community, researchers, professionals, depending on your focus. After you have stated your problem and its significance, you want to move on to what does research say about this problem? Uh, who investigated this problem before? What did they investigate? You do not have to do a comprehensive literature review, but you need to have multiple studies that have investigated that problem. And usually you want to narrow it down. So by the end of the literature review, you can say, okay, those people have investigated those areas, but this one area has not been investigated, and these are the questions that I want to ask. So it's kind of creating the gap for your investigation. Then, after you have created that gap, you say, okay, these are my research questions. That's because those are the questions that will make the study significant. And in your writing of the research questions, I just remember one of the things that my advisor told me many times actually before is that the writing of research questions um, should help you draw data. So, for example, if you are asking questions that can be answered by a yes or a no, this is not helpful for your research uh, because all what you will get is a yes or a no. However, when we ask questions with how, what, why, these questions draw more data. So think carefully when you are writing your research questions. Um, so after the research questions, you want to move on to, okay, how will you conduct the study? How will you get the data? How will you answer the questions? Okay, there are multiple ways. So the two main uh, research methods that are known, we call them quantitative and qualitative. Let's start with the qualitative one. So the qualitative research method is a method that does not depend on numbers, but more depend on meaning making. So, for example, when you interview people, okay, you'll get a lot of data and you try to find themes within those data. Um, Similarly, when you do or when you use questionnaires with open-ended questions, these questionnaires will give you a lot of data and then you try to find themes or answers within these data to your question. The second or the other research method that we call quantitative, that's a research method based on numbers. So, for example, like using polls, for example, like before elections, there is always polls, and it is used especially for large numbers of people. Like you are not going to interview 1,000 people. You cannot do that. So that's why we use quantitative research. We try to make questions that can be answered with a yes or no, or to select one person. And then we say, this is how many people who said this, and this is how many people who said this. That's what we call quantitative research and quantitative analysis. There's also literature review. Literature review is when you actually decide to get data from the literature, from books or from articles, from visiting other research. So the literature review can serve as like before the research questions in order to I would say create the gap for the study, the research gap, or create the how your research aligns with other researchers. But you can also use literature review as a research method itself in order to answer the questions. And after you have justified the research method that you are using, you use citation, or I'm sorry, you add a citation section or a bibliography section when you make proper citations, both in text in the body of the proposal and at the end of the document. So these are expected sections, but they are not carved in stone. You can, um, you can argue against that. You can think of a different one. And I'm sure if we dig deeper into different examples of research proposals, we will find a lot of variations. But I thought I would just give you some expectations or suggestions for how I imagine your research proposal would look like. And I hope it helps. For next time we are meeting after the Thanksgiving break, I want you to submit your proposal on Monday, December 1st, so we can have a peer review on Tuesday. And this will be a more or another opportunity for getting feedback from a peer on what you have already written, and try to enhance that so you before you submitting the final research proposal. Um, so the peer review will be done on Tuesday, December the 2nd, and then the last uh, week of classes will be made for presentations and making the PDF portfolio. And the portfolio is just combining the two documents that you have produced in one PDF and making a one-page introduction for it and then submitting it. The portfolio will be due on Sunday, December the 14th. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Again, I can't apologize enough for the confusion. I know that confusion causes stress. It caused stress to me, and it has caused definitely stress to you. Um, I hope that these adjustments that I have made at least give us uh, and kind of expectation of how we are going to wrap up the semester. You feel free to email me any questions that you have, and I look forward to seeing you after Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving break.